Hello everyone, welcome to my lecture series of electromagnetic fields. We will discuss different theories, phenomena and numerical solution of different cases in this series. I hope this series will give a fruitful outcome to physics scholars or engineering students. So in the last video we have applied Gauss's law on differential volume element which have very non-symmetrical charge distribution, and our objective was to determine the field intensity and flux density due to such unsymmetrical charge distribution, and we have derived a very important term called the divergence. Today we are going to learn about Maxwell's first equation and divergence theorem. Both are very important topic as far as the electromagnetism or electromagnetic fields are concerned. Fine. Actually Maxwell gave us 4 equations which have become the base to study electromagnetism. In today's video we are going to learn about his first equation and a very important theorem called divergence theorem. So let us begin. So to determine the Maxwell's first equation, we know the divergence of flux density is nothing but the outflow of flux from a closed surface per unit volume as the volume shrinks to 0. So the divergence of field that we have defined is nothing but the closed surface integration of d bar dot ds bar, which is nothing but the outflow of flux. Fine. Now this term is nothing but flux, and size same as closed integration of d bar dot ds bar is called the Gauss's law. Fine. So but the divergence defined as the outward of flux per unit volume, so unit volume delta V, and as the volume shrinks to 0, so we are giving the limit to delta V tends to 0. So for any vector field, the divergence is defined as the outward flow of that field per unit volume as the volume shrinks to 0. So here this terminal, or say this term, is called divergence of D, or in mathematical language we show it as lambda dot d bar. We have also derived how to calculate such divergence, and in Cartesian coordinate system we can calculate it by partial differentiation. So we will partial differentiate the component of x with respect to x plus the y component of flux density will be differentiated with respect to y, and z component of flux density will be differentiated with respect to z. Okay. Now according to Gauss's law, the flux is nothing but Q enclosed. So we can write Q is equals to closed integration d bar dot ds bar, and if we divide both sides with delta V, then we will have this relationship, and this relationship will be the base of derivation of Maxwell's first equation. So we got some equation in the form of Q upon delta V equals to closed surface integration of d bar dot ds bar divided by delta V. Now if we put the limit delta V tends to 0, that is our small volume is shrinking to 0 in left hand side as well as right hand side. So limit delta V tends to 0, closed surface integration of d bar dot ds bar, which is nothing but the outflow flux. Then this term right hand side term is nothing but divergence of d bar, and this left hand side term can be written as rho v, that is volume charge density at that particular point. So according to Maxwell, he derived that divergence of d bar is nothing but the volume charge density, and this is the first equation of Maxwell, which is very helpful to determine or to prove many other phenomena or theories related to electromagnetic field or specifically electrostatics. Now this Maxwell first equation is also called point form of Gauss's law, and it is also called the differential form, or say Gauss's law in differential form. Why it is called Gauss's law in differential form? Because if you write the divergence, then you will have dx by del x plus del dy by del y plus del dz by del z equals to rho v. This will be the form of Maxwell's first equation, and this form does consist a differential terms into it, and that is why it is called Gauss's law in differential form. Okay, now the statement of Gauss's law, it is very important to understand and remember the statement of Maxwell's first equation or Gauss's law in point form. The statement is the divergence of electric flux density at a point in a medium is equal to the volume charge density at the same point. So this is how simply we can derive the Maxwell's first equation. So Maxwell's first equation can be derived with the help of Gauss's law, the definition of divergence, and the understanding of volume charge density. So these three fundamental understanding will easily lead you to the Maxwell's first equation. Okay. Another thing that should be remembered for this particular topic is the two names of Maxwell's first equation. First is point form of Gauss law, because here all the discussion was carried out around a point. Fine. And the second well-known name of Maxwell's first equation is Gauss's law in differential form, because if we expand this equation, that is divergence of d bar equals to rho v, then we will have del dx by del x plus del dy by del y plus del dz by del z equals to rho v, and that is why it is called the Gauss's law in differential form. Okay, so moving further, we have divergence theorem. It is very important theorem, and the divergence theorem can be easily derived with the help of Gauss's law and Maxwell's first equation. So if anyone wants to derive the divergence theorem, then he or she must be familiar with Gauss's law and Maxwell's first equation. Okay, so let us try to prove or say derive the divergence theorem. The proof we will see afterwards. First we will derive the divergence theorem. So from the Gauss's law we know that the flux is nothing but the charge enclosed, which is nothing but the closed surface integration of field flux density with surface. And now, while the charge enclosed in a volume is given by charge enclosed in a volume, so this charge can be written as volume integration of rho v with respect to volume, or say v. And Maxwell's first equation that we have just derived says that rho v is nothing but divergence of d bar. Now putting this third result into this second one and then putting this value of q into the Gauss's law, what we will have? So we will first have q equals to volume integration of divergence of d bar dv, and putting this value of q into Gauss's law, then we'll have closed surface integration of d bar dot ds bar will be equals to volume integration of divergence of d bar with respect to v. So this is the form of divergence theorem. So as you can see, the divergence theorem is actually converting the surface integration into the volume integration. So as you can see, in the left hand side we are having the surface integration, in the right hand side we are having the volume integration. Okay, and this is called the mathematical form of divergence theorem, or it is also known as Gauss-Ostrogradsky. Its pronunciation is quite tricky. Gauss-Ostrogradsky theorem or divergence theorem. Now, what does it mean? The integral of the normal component of any vector field over a closed surface is equal to the integral of the divergence of that vector field throughout the volume enclosed by the closed surface. Physical meaning, or say understanding of divergence theorem, is the surface integral of any vector field over a closed surface is equal to the integral of divergence characteristically represents the divergence theorem, and this theorem can be applied to any vector field, but the partial differentiation or partial derivatives of that vector field must exist. So if we want to apply this theorem for any kind of electrostatic field, then its partial differentiation must exist, because if that is not possible, then right hand side cannot be calculated. Okay, and with the help of divergence theorem, the surface integral can be converted into a volume integral. Fine. Now if we want to prove that this statement and the final form of divergence theorem is true, then we can imagine a case quite that we have taken a arbitrary volume in three-dimensional space, fine, and we have divided the total volume into subsections called cells. So here each this subsection is one cell. Okay, and doing so, let the vector field associated with the surface S is d bar. So here all these green arrows are representing the d bar or flux density. Then for the ith cell, the volume delta Vi and is bounded by the surface Si, we can write. So for example, let us consider this cell. This is our ith cell. Then for this ith cell, we can write psi I equals to closed surface integration of S of I d bar dot ds I bar. Okay, and the total flux phi can be find out as I equals to 1 to n. Say for example, we have divided this volume into n cells, then I equals to 1 to n integration of Si d bar dot dsi bar. And if we divide both sides by delta Vi, then we must multiply it with delta Vi. This thing is only to reach up to the divergence. Okay, otherwise this delta Vi is not required. So this is how we can find out the total psi. But the cells are adjacent to each other, as you can see in the figure. Every cells are adjacent to each other, and the outward flux of the one cell is inward to its neighboring cell. So you can see that whatever flux is leaving from the ith cell will be the entering flux of I plus 1th cell or I minus 1 cell. Okay, so keeping this fact into the consideration, we can write the total flux psi equals to, now we need not to worry about each and every individual cell, rather we can consider the overall closed surface integration and giving the limit to such small volume shrinking to 0, giving the limit to each volume to be shrinking to 0, what will happen? We can write limit delta v tends to 0, closed surface integration d bar dot ds bar divided by del v is nothing but divergence of d bar. And now we will use this relation into our last equation, which was nothing but divergence of d bar, and here we will have dv. Fine. Now putting the value of psi from the Gauss's law, so psi is nothing but closed surface integration of d bar dot ds bar, and here if we want to have the total volume, then we will have the volume integration of this term in the right hand side. So we will have divergence of d bar with respect to dv. So this is how we can easily prove the divergence theorem. The only thing that is important over here to understand that whenever we are proving the divergence theorem, first we will subdivide the total volume into n cells, then we will consider any one particular cell, let us say ith cell, and we will calculate for that ith cell only. Then we will take the summation, and when we are taking the summation, we will consider the fact that outward flux of any cell will be the inward flux to the neighboring cell. So to calculate the overall flux passing through the small volume, we can consider the closed surface integration directly. Fine. So this is how we can prove the divergence theorem. However, the proof of divergence theorem is not that important, because in exam they might ask you to verify the divergence theorem for any particular vector field. So in the next video we will solve a couple of examples in which we will verify the divergence theorem. However, it is very universal theorem and equally applicable for all the vector field, provided the partial differential of vector field must exist. Thank you.